Start. Okay, I started recording the session. Previous lesson we stopped culture diversity. We revised a couple of videos if you can remember, and of course you came up with your own presentation regarding the information about country. And today or tomorrow I'm gonna be checking your presentations, your links to YouTube, so that you can be graded. Remember that you should have taken into consideration specific elements and information about country, such as the focus on English, the variations on the language regarding pronunciation, spelling, idioms, slang, ways of communication, behavior, traditions, and well, all the elements that make up the umbrella of cultural diversity. Well, I'm looking forward to checking your work, but we need to continue. Today, we're gonna have a look at learning styles. We have already explored the topic, if you can remember, with your videos of categorization, because somehow you projected the way you learn and your characteristics as learners and as people. To a certain extent, in your presentations, it was possible to discriminate some of your characteristics and how you actually categorize information words in the case of the presentation. It was quite interesting to take a look at it and to try to understand how you actually systematize words and information, building up networks. Today we are technically checking every single learning style and some personality types according to Carl Jung. This is going to be important for a self-recognition exercise. Okay, so we're going to cover learning styles today, personality types, and hopefully language learning strategies. They are different theories, okay? They are different. You have got a paper on the folder we are sharing to Google Drive. It's called Readings. There you have one paper from Rebecca Oxford. It's about language learning strategies and styles. You need to read the paper, and after reading it, you will be able to check the differences between learning styles and learning strategies more in depth. However, today you're gonna try to discriminate them. Okay, I'm gonna share with you a presentation because I don't want to lose a minute. I'm gonna start sharing a presentation with you, and if you got any question, please just let me know. Okay, so as I said before, with your categorization presentation, we started acknowledging how we construct knowledge and deconstruct it in an attempt to transform meaning for us to be meaningful, for us to be significant, and to appropriate it. Well, it's important to know the kind of learner you are, because that way you can increase your possibility when learning a specific subject. You're supposed to be focused on language and what it involves, but we are learning different things at the BA. Language, we're learning culture, we're learning society, we're learning linguistics, and well, little bits and pieces of translation and literature, etc. So the more you recognize yourself, the more likely you are to succeed, because you can exploit the abilities, the skills, the strategies, and your strengths. What are learning styles? Well, learning styles are basically your general approaches to cover certain specific topics to be learned. Learning styles are personalized, they are individual. They are constructed according to your background, to your past, your previous experiences, your connections with information, and they have to do with individuality. However, we also share commonalities. We need general approaches because they guide our learning. And that's why plenty of research has been done in order to provide with general labels to put people, in so that they can fit. However, I strongly believe that our learning styles are personal, individual, and they are created in an individual manner. Of course, we share commonalities, and there are similarities among people and among cultures and among communities of practice, but generalizations are to be taken into consideration in a very careful manner. Which styles have you developed? This is something we aim to discover today. Okay, some of you already know the answer, and some of you will eventually discover the styles you have developed. Why is it important to be aware of your learning styles? Well, because as I said before, if you know your learning styles, you're likely to recognize yourself and exploit your possibilities of success. Well, those questions are for your reflection, and they could be employed for today's journal entry. Okay, you could explore the topic and you could write about your own learning styles, awareness about them, and how you have developed them. Well, it is useful for you to know your learning style because you start constructing a professional identity. We have different roles when we become university students in when we are to become professionals. You have one identity for being at home, and another at school, and one more for your family and friends. It's not about a personality disorder, but it's about making decisions and behaving in a certain manner according to the situation. And that makes a lot of sense. Otherwise, we wouldn't save face. We wouldn't have any more friends. So we make decisions all the time. We solve problems. we decide how to behave according to the situation, the words we choose, and the people we are sharing with, and how we get along well with them depends a lot on the decisions we make. Um, you start knowing yourself once you explore um, your relationship with the environment, and your relationship with others, and when you start reflecting how you behave at school and in different situations, and it does make a difference, believe it or not, because you develop consciousness, and consciousness leads students to recognize language in depth, um, what is so-called meta-linguistic skills. You know the language, but you know about the language, and you know how you got to know the language. It's very interesting, but that's the way these strategies work. And that's the way your personality starts changing. Well, we have this acronym which stands for visual learners or auditory learners, reading and writing, and kinesthetic learners. Well, there are lots of service questionnaires which have been administered in different contexts. They have been measured, they have been employed, and they usually work. Okay, as I said before, learning styles are general approaches. Some of us might fit in one or two learning styles according to research, but if we start thinking critically, we might see that we have differences. Okay, we might be part of, of a learning style, but we might be part of another, and we could actually be a mix of this categorization. Every single student, every single person has got a preference, as to how to take information. One of the ways we can establish your preference is by answering a questionnaire, or a survey. That's typical. But I think that the best way, well, I don't know the best, but the most suitable way to know yourself is by means of exploration, and uh, by self-consciousness, by being critical about your behavior rather than answering a survey, you know because it could be biased. Sometimes surveys and questionnaires are administered in a very biased manner. They push you to answer you know one option. But if you start recognizing yourself by means of exploration, well, you need to know yourself, right? Well, you know whether you're lying or not. Um, and it's also, a process of recognition. But you question your actions, you question your thoughts, you question your perceptions, your approach, because your approach is unique. Your approach means the way you do things. Your position, which is personal, nobody else is in your position. Well, let's give it a go, okay? I mean, questionnaires or surveys might be quite general, in a broad sense, they work. And well, we shouldn't underestimate, the research that has been done through years just to come up with those data collection methods. I mean, they help us to recognize, to guide, yeah, but you know, this is an exercise that needs a lot of reflection, you know. Let's give you a goal, okay? Try to answer this question. Well, it's a condition, okay? If you buy something that you have to assemble when you get it home, what do you do? Um, wait, give me a second. Give me a second. Students, are you there?
Yes, we are here.
I
Yeah.
apologize to you. I was taking care of a situation with a teacher B. She's having lots of problems. She's got trouble with teachers and she's got psychiatric problems. And of course, you know, my tutories are quite relevant. And I was taking care of the situation so that she can continue at the VA. I don't want her to drop out. And I hope you can understand. I was talking to a teacher about her situation. I'm so sorry. I apologize to you. But now we can continue. Mhm. Park. Okay. I will stop here. If you buy something that you need to assemble when you get it home, do you open the packaging and try to put the item together without reading the instructions? Or you read the instructions carefully before you attempt to assemble the item? Or you hand the instructions to your brother, to your father, to your mother, or someone else to read them to you and read them aloud yourself. You start, okay, I need to put this on the right and the left. What do you do? A, B, or C? Choose one. Next, when you buy a new mobile phone, do you take it out of the box and fiddle with the pieces before you read any instructions? Or read all the instructions before you attempt to press any button? Or do you ask someone else to read the instructions to you and explain how the phone works, or read the instructions aloud to yourself? What do you do? Many people use a map, what? Google Maps this day and age, right? And possibly write down some directions when finding the way to a new location. But what do you do? Do you look at the map and follow all the roads with your finger or with your eyes? Look at the whole map from a broad perspective and then look at every road or read out every road to yourself. What do you do? Now we have applications, you know, more than maps, but we have Google Maps. You have the Earth view, you know, or you have the street view, or you have a general panorama, or you have a close lens, you know, take a look at the streets. Wow. If you chose A, yeah, if you got more letters A, well, you are kind of a kinesthetic person. If you chose B, you're visual. And if you chose C, you're supposed to be auditory. Of course, it could be a mix, kinesthetic, visual, and auditory. Okay, but you know, generally, we develop more one style than another, although we have a mix. Regarding the visual learners, well, we need to think of pictures, visual aids, presentations, diagrams, slides, handouts, photos, posters, brainstorms, mind maps, etc. Here you have a couple of items, you know, resources or tools which might be helpful for visual learners. Those could be helpful for you when studying languages. You could summarize information by means of creating your own mind map, by creating your Padlets, or by exploring Canva with an infographic. Something which is visual for you might be helpful. For auditory learners, we have listening related exercises such as lectures, discussions, music tracks, tapes. If you have this preference regarding the learning style, well, you like to listen to instructions, working in groups, discussion, talking to others, to your teacher, explain new ideas to other people, or explaining the homework to others. Well, recording your own voice on your mobile phone, listening to MP3 players, listening to videos, listening to music, of course, describe overheads, pictures, and other visuals to somebody who wasn't there so that you could use your oral discourse, listening, receptive, and productive skills. Reading and writing, well, is focused on words. Not surprisingly, many teachers and students have a strong preference for this mode. This day and age, this is changing because we're working online. And as we're working online, well, the traditional chalk and talk cannot be done, can't take place. We need to use visuals, we need to use audios, we need to use videos, realia, presentations, infographics, we need to use mind maps, and different resources, online resources. So there is this opportunity for reading and writing to be developed, and for those students who feel comfortable with those skills to take advantage of their style by asking to write journals or to keep a record of new words they are learning, or to write response papers, academic essays, etc. If you think of the things that could be helpful for people who are keen on reading and writing, you could think of textbooks, notes, as I said, journal entries, academic papers, notes, personal plan cards, handouts, lists, your vocabulary chart, etc. Now, for kinesthetic learners, we could find active exploration of the word, science projects, experiments, tasks such as presentations, movement, getting together, working collaboratively. We could find examples that employ the four senses, sight, touch, taste, smell. It's difficult to move around now that we're working online, but of course we are actually moving our intellectual skills by means of tasks. We are trying to work collaboratively, and of course we should keep track of our interests. Once your interest is awake, you're likely to use, all your senses and all your capabilities for covering a task. If you're interested about cultural diversity, of course, well, you're likely to perform really well with your presentation. The idea is, to know the purpose of a task for you to exploit your kinesthetic or auditory or visual learning style. Now, regarding research on learning styles, I told you to read Oxford, okay? That's gonna be your task, your homework. According to Oxford, learning styles have the following definition. I had prepared a scrambling exercise, but I didn't have the time to move the task for an online one. You know, it was prepared with some envelopes, but of course we can't do it. And honestly, I didn't have time. Well, learning styles are the general approaches. Remember, a general approach is a general position, perception, the way you see things and you understand them. Global means that you have more than one learning style. Analytic, of course, this is the opposite, you know, we're gonna check personality types. Auditory or visual. We also have personality types, which are involved in learning styles. Those personality types plus your general approaches are used for acquiring or learning a new language or any other subject. How to drive, how to cook, or how to use the computer. You learn everything based on your general approaches. Therefore, it is important to acknowledge those processes. We have another definition: the overall patterns that give general direction to learning behavior. Patterns, models, you know, they lead the way you behave regarding learning. Okay, whether you feel frustrated, shy, brave, scared, threatened, afraid, excited. The relevance of learning styles is also placed on biological and developmental sets of characteristics that could favor your learning or could deter your learning, depending on your learning style. You might say, okay, well, I feel really comfortable with presentations and with tasks because your learning style fits with those teaching characteristics. However, some other students might say, oh my dog, I can't believe it. This teacher speaks English all the time, you know, and I can't stand it. I need a little bit of Spanish, because your learning style is different. So for some people, this could be beneficial, but for some others, it does not work at the beginning because of personal characteristics. Of course, you know, the ideal process is to keep a balance between learning styles and teaching methodologies and approaches. But the complexity is really high because we need to cover 30 people's different needs. Okay, so that's why sometimes it's more feasible to adapt the teaching method than to adapt. 30 people's different needs. I usually try it because that's my commitment, my responsibility, but it implies a lot of work, you know, a lot of commitment, time, effort, energy, and not every single teacher does that, honestly, you know. They rather ask students to adapt the teaching method than to explore learning styles. But if you can see the variety we got with evaluation, there is a diversity of evidence we have provided with, and we will, because I took into consideration the different characteristics that you got, whether auditory or visual or kinesthetic or reading and writing. So you have the opportunity to speak up yourself, to express what you want, what you can express by means of different evidence. Well, regarding this set of characteristics, we have sensory preferences, personality types, we have globality, desired degree of generality. Oh, sorry. And we also have biological differences, such as sustenance, location, and in one other element I can remember. Well, what are your sensory preferences, your personality types, and your biological differences? Well, this is something we are about to discover, okay? What do you have in common with your classmates, for example? What do you physically need that makes you different from others? Water, sugar, coffee, light, wind, the sun. You need a comfortable place to study, or you need to sleep before. Well, this is something we are likely to discover. Before going over personality types, I want you to take a look at this definition. Well, it's a statement rather than a definition. Learning styles are not dichotomous. They are not black or white, present or absent. Learning styles are diverse, okay? We have four, well, not four, but we have general labels for learning styles, auditory, visual, etc. But that does not mean you are visual and you are only kinesthetic. No. I mean, learning styles are diverse in that sense. You know, they depend a lot on individuality. Sensory preferences, here you have. This has to do with your senses. Okay, remember the sense: sight, touch, smell. Some people might remember their grandmothers just by smelling, you know, and of course that brings up memories of your childhood or memories of situations you lived, and you start remembering things. So senses do play a paramount role regarding learning. Or homework, how you define your sensory preference. Okay, include in today's entry a paragraph where you define your sensory preferences. Okay, next. Personality types. We have extroverted versus introverted. shy people, and we have a you know sociable people. Intuitive, random, sensing, sequential. We are checking it in a moment. Closure oriented versus open perceiving. Thinking versus feeling. Well, extroverts gain their energy from the external world, from others, from the environment, while introverts derive their energy from the internal world. Okay. There is this video from the BBC I strongly recommend watching. The Word of Introverts. It's really good. It actually explains how introverts work out information in a very particular manner, you know, from the internet. It's beautiful, you know, and of course we all know the differences between extroverts and introverts. We actually, when we work with the opposite, right? When we usually work with the opposite, we start recognizing our personalities and theirs. And we need to develop a axiological knowledge, such as patience, tolerance, and collaboration, etc. Well, I'm going to share the link with you, by the way. Now, it's not, again, that sensory preferences and personality types are black or white. No. Sometimes they're not divided. The division is not clear enough. So it could be a mix. And this is what global learners usually have, you know. They have a mix and a variety of characteristics. Intuitive random versus sensing sequential. Well, for intuitive random students, we have abstract, futuristic, large scale, and non-sequential thinking way. They like to create theories and new possibilities. Sensing sequential, on the other hand, are grounded in the here and now. They like figures, facts, rather than theories. They want guidance, a specific instruction for the teacher, and look for consistency. So they need rubrics, you know, in order to know what is expected from them. For example, if I say, for tomorrow, you're going to observe and detect learning styles and strategies. An intuitive random person might say, okay, wonderful. I have the opportunity to be creative, and I'm gonna focus on behavior, and I'm going to focus on senses. And then I'm gonna create a mind map. And he delivers the piece of homework. However, sensing sequential learners might say, what do I need to do? What is expected from me? Do I need to carry out research? Do I need figures? How am I going to observe? How can I represent what I observe? I need instructions from the teacher. I need guidelines, and I need a scoring rubric in order to know what is expected from me. So there are differences. Okay, check it out. Thinking and feeling. Well, thinking students are oriented toward the stark truth, even if it hurts some people's feelings. Okay, cruelty. Children are usually that way, by the way. They want to be viewed as competent and do not tend to offer praise easily, even though they might secretly desire to be praised themselves. I mean, they really like them told that they are doing well. They sometimes seem detached. Now, on the other hand, feeling students value other people in very personal ways. They show empathy, compassion through words, not just behaviors, and say whatever is needed to smooth over difficult situations. They seem to be more empathetic. Different personalities, of course. Judging versus perceiving. Well, judging students want to reach judgments or completion quickly and want clarity as soon as possible. They are serious, hardworking learners usually, who like to be given written information and enjoy specific tasks with deadlines. Okay? When do I need to deliver the task? On Monday 28th. Okay, thank you. They organize themselves. Sometimes their desire for closure hampers the development of fluency. So they are really good at writing and reading, but they might show some constraints regarding speaking. Open learners, on the other side, want to stay available for continuously new perceptions and are therefore sometimes called perceiving. They take language learning less seriously, treating it like a game to be enjoyed rather than a set of tasks to be completed. Open learners dislike due times for delivery. They want to have a good time and seem to soak up language information by luck rather than hard effort. Well, it's not that dramatic, you know, but they really enjoy being creative, exploring new approaches, etc. Desired degree of generality, well, global or holistic students like socially interactive components in which they can emphasize the main idea and avoid analysis of mechanics. You know, grammatical issues are placed in the second section. Analytic students, on the other hand, tend to concentrate on grammar and often avoid more free-flowing communicative activities. A balance between both, well, is beneficial, of course, you know, in order to achieve both fluency and accuracy regarding language learning. For homework, guys, this is homework in your journal as well. You need to write an example of biorhythms, sustenance, and location in your entry. Okay? In order to know what biorhythm, sustenance, and location, you need to read Oxford's paper. The paper can be found in the folder called Readings. You just go there and investigate biorhythm, sustenance, and location. Once you know what they are all about, write an example for each, about yourself, of course, so that you can recognize yourself. Okay, include it in your journal. Next, conclusion. Do you agree with learning styles? Do you agree with the theory? Is it a personal construction, or is it that we share more commonalities in a community of practice? For example, at Universidad Veracruzana, or in Veracruz, or in Mexico, that we make up and we construct our own learning styles because of cultural things. Is it a cultural construction, or it's just a cognitive exercise? Well, it's up to you. Right? Here you have the references. Does anybody have a question? Or a comment? No, not really. Well, let me tell you, we also have impulsive students, impulsive personalities. And we actually manage different situations in the classroom. I'm going to share a presentation very briefly with you so that we can check two examples of different learners. That's what I want you to. Wait, comfort zone, no. Well, these other ones. Check it out. Learning styles. Can anybody help me reading this paragraph? Camila? Okay, thank you, Camila. Yeah, go ahead. Alfredo. Okay, no, Alfredo, no. I mean, Jose. Jose, yeah, Jose.
What happened, teacher?
I'm about to share it. Wait. Can you see the presentation now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Please.
Maria is 18 years old and wants to go to a university in the United States. She has been an excellent student all her life, getting lots of A's on her report cards. In her English class, she's very shy. She seldom speaks in class unless, seldom. She seldom speaks in class unless the teacher calls on her. Whenever she speaks English, she likes to plan what she's going to say. So she takes a long time to say things. Her English has grammar, but her pronunciation is not very clear. She prefers to write scores on. She prefers to write things down in English before saying. She has high scores on her written quizzes and tests, but her scores on pronunciation quizzes are only average. She studies very hard by herself. Outside class, she almost never goes to parties.
Thank you very much indeed. Very good. There you have Mariah. Well, Maria, right, Maria? Well, some people might feel identified here, right? You carefully think things before speaking up your mind so that you can feel confident enough, secure. Now, we have another example. Manuel. Manu is also 18 years old and also wants to go to university in the United States. His grades in school have been average. Not good, not bad. In his English class, he talks a lot. He always raises his hand to speak. He never really plans what he's going to say. His grammar is average. But his pronunciation is excellent. And he talks very naturally. He doesn't write things down very often. His written test scores are average, but in pronunciation quizzes, he usually gets an A+. Outside class, Manuel rarely studies, but he has a lot of friends and talks with them a lot. He loves to go to parties. Well, this is not my paragraph now. It was an extract taken from Brown in 2002, Strategies for Success. Well, Manuel is completely different, right? He seems to be a free spirit, an extrovert. Which student is more successful or likely to be more successful, Mariah or Manuel? Any ideas? No? No ideas.
I think that can be well.
Yeah?
It is because I heard that you said that he studied by himself.
Okay. Well, I could barely listen to you. Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Oh, I said that he is a good student, and he can study by himself.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Okay, autonomous learning, right? Autonomy. Well, some people use their eyes, some others write down, some people work really fast, they speak up their mind without thinking too much, they learn by doing, they enjoy exact rules, practice with other people. But we have other people who use their ears to listen carefully, work slowly, say things only after thinking a lot, learn by analyzing and thinking, enjoy general guidelines, practice a lot. Who is more successful, Maria or Manuel? Well, both of them. Of course, by following their own rhythm, by following their own style, they can both be successful. And I'm sure they both will be successful. It's just that you need to recognize yourself. If Maria is able to recognize herself as well as Manuel, they are likely to channel their energy and take advantage of their strengths. But both students will be successful. Manuel is likely to develop speaking skills faster and more fluently. But Maria, on the other hand, is likely to develop metalinguistic skills in order to know grammar in depth or pronunciation rules. So you have strengths and points to work out. The more you recognize them, the more likely you are to succeed. Oh. You have advantages and disadvantages for being reflective and from being impulsive. Here you are. Advantages for reflective. Well, more accurate regarding language skills. Advantages for impulsive. Well, more participation, more output, faster, better in scheduling your time. Disadvantages for reflective. Well, waiting too long to speak. Reading is more slower in time test. Disadvantages for impulsive: less accurate in speaking, likely to fossilize errors. Less accurate in reading, act without thinking enough, making lots of mistakes. But we should remember that making mistakes is part of learning. We need to make mistakes. Well, this is not necessary. Okay, this is necessary. Write a list of specific things that you will do to balance reflective and impulsive learning. For example, I will volunteer in class to speak. If you never do it, maybe you will. Or I will think carefully what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it before I start speaking. Try to take it into consideration, maybe in your notes for the next session regarding English. Yes, because here we have a more a different approach. But for your English class, could work. It's just like a reminder. And finally, think about all the classes you have taken in English. In this course, yeah, write a paragraph in your journal, another one that describes your style as a language learner. Write the paragraph following the format we checked with Mariah and Manuel. Try to describe your learning style as completely as possible. Okay? This is another paragraph for your journal. These are the references. Well, thank you for your attention. Now, we have a couple of minutes, guys. Let me tell you something. This is gonna get harder. You know why? Because we're about to finish the term. We're about to finish the course. Yes, we are. Believe it or not. Thankfully or sadly for some people. Because I really enjoyed the class. And I'm sure some of you do too. But we need to cover every single unit of the course that we established at the beginning. And as a result, you will have plenty of homework this week. It's necessary, it's going to be helpful, don't worry, don't be afraid, don't be frustrated. Remember that at the beginning, you had plenty of homework, even more. I'm going to show you what you need to do, okay? You're going to work on your journal that was already discussed, okay? But I'm going to share with you what you need to do next. Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Uh-oh. Wait a sec, I'm trying hard. Ah, yeah. Ooh. Can you see A minus now? E minus? Can you see it? Yeah?
Yeah, we can.
Well, this is the, thank you. This is the evaluation section, okay? Here, in the evaluation section, you will be able to find response paper 1. Who am I as a language learner? Can you see? Yeah. Check the dates. You can start writing your paper today. You can send your paper today. And you have a deadline. Tuesday, 8th of this December the 8th. At 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning, okay? Check it out. Take it into account. Organize yourself. Okay? Please take a look at this. Okay? Because you are confused, and I think, you know, more than 5 people send me an email asking me for the dates. Well, the dates are here. Okay, this is the deadline. This is the last day. But if you can send your paper before, I would appreciate it a lot, because I will have more time to check. You click it here. Response paper. What is a response paper? Well, a response paper is an academic piece of writing to check up your progress and development regarding the content of the units we have explored so far. What you need to do is to write a title for your essay. Who am I as a language learner? Cliserio's identity construction, Jimena's identity construction, Camila's identity construction, Carolina's identity construction. You can support your ideas professionally, because you are now university students, on Oxford, Brown, Gardner, or any other scholar you've read throughout the course. Readings folder to Google Drive, okay? You need to give proper credit, of course, paraphrasing or block quotation. You need to revise what academic writing is and develop the topics involved in the subject matter, learning styles, maybe multiple intelligences, cultural diversity, strategies for knowing about the language, not only the language, okay, not only speaking, writing, reading, listening, no, but to know about the language system, vocabulary and grammar. Remember? The 3 different dimensions: form, meaning, use. This is the time for you to speak up what you need to. For people who are really into reading and writing, this is your opportunity to express what you have to express. There are a couple of requirements, yeah, and they are very specific. Here you have, justify the text, use Arial 12, spacing, no paragraphing, no spaces, write your name at the end of the paper. You could use English or Spanish this time, okay? English or Spanish, but grammar counts, okay? Give your sources of information in a different sheet and write there the references by following APA formatting 2017. Upload your response paper to the folder called Response Paper 1. It's here. Response Paper 1, check. Okay? Response Paper 1. You click it there, you create a folder with your name, and you place there your response paper. No, Thursday, no, this is not true. Okay, no, forget about this. This is the one. Yeah. Tuesday, December the 8th at 10 o'clock. That's gonna be the deadline. Okay. You can download the rubric for evaluation. Here it is. And that's gonna be 10% of your evaluation. Be careful, take your time, proofread your paper, and once it's ready, send it to me. Follow the requirements, okay? From 2050 to 300 words, 1 sheet long. No more, no more, you know, you need to economize language. Okay? Not less, because you need to copy the requirements. Good. Very well. Now, you have another piece of homework. Yeah, another piece of homework. or no? Let me check. Yeah, it's here. We will have a presentation next Tuesday on learning strategies. Okay, we're gonna check learning strategies and literacy skills. But check, you could start working on your observation on learning styles and strategies, because you can start doing it from today and you will have until Thursday, December the 10th. So you can start doing it, okay? Check. This observation aims to identify learning strategies and learning styles that we have already checked from a relative, a person from your family, or a famous character from the TV or films. These are the instructions. Fill in a learning styles chart with some characteristics of each biological type. This is the format, observation format. You download it and you will do it. Now, you need to observe a character or a relative. Focus on two people, two relatives. It could be your daughter and your son, or your father and your mother, or your brother and your sister, or your neighbor and your friend, etc. Identify their learning style and give examples of their behavior and learning strategies. For knowing the learning strategies, the taxonomy, well, you need to read Oxford's paper. I told you at the beginning of the presentation. Memory related, compensatory, social, active, direct, indirect, metacognitive, etc. We have 6 different strategies. Identify these strategies and back them up by registering what you observed. Okay? You have the files here, read carefully the files, and you will have until Thursday the 10th at 10 in the morning for delivering this task. This task is also 10% of your evaluation. Okay? Let me check somebody's writing there. Oh no, I thought you were. You will be able to check this presentation again, don't worry. Let's go back to evaluations. And finally, oh my God, too much homework. Start working, and revising your dynamics in class. The folder you have on Google Drive, make sure you have everything there, because I will check it on December 11th. Okay, December 11th. It's Friday. I think it's Friday. Is it? Yeah. Okay, not this Friday. No. Next week. I will check dynamics in class. I will check your flashcards. I will check your journal and your vocabulary chart. And we have 4 elements there. 40% of the evaluation. Okay. This week, I need to check your presentation. Of course. So everything needs to be there to Google Drive. Dynamics, flashcards, journal, vocabulary chart. You've been working really hard. I don't think you will have any problem. Okay.
I have a question.
Are
we supposed to upload Dynamics, flashcard, journal, and chart right now, or next week?
It's already uploaded, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, but not on E-Minus.
No, not here. Not here. No, I will check it on Drive, Only on Drive.
All right. Yeah.
Not here. You know why? Because I don't want to download too many files. I want to check it there on the drive because I don't need to download it. And then the grade is going to be reflected here.
Fair enough. Thank you.
And I will let you know, of course. Okay?
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you? Yeah?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Very well. Now, next time, I'm going to stop sharing this. Next Tuesday, Tuesday 8th, we have a session on learning strategies and literacy skills. And I'm going to explain the final response paper, okay? Which is going to be delivered on December 15th. So that I can have your grades at the very end of the term, okay? Your grades are going to be ready on December 18th before going on holiday so that you can enjoy Christmas and you can celebrate and say, yeah, I got my 10 or I got my 6. I did it. But you can, stay calm. You can stay, because I know that, most students feel, how can I say this? Incomplete, because, I know the feeling. I know myself the feeling when they don't have their grades, they need their grades. Well, at least I do, and I think it's good to deliver the grade before holiday because you can enjoy yourself, you can be satisfied, you don't have anything else to cover in January. And of course, this is professional, because it's part of our job, organize the dates so that we can deliver grades in proper time, not in January after the party, and after the party you discover that you failed the course. Wow, that's not fair, right? You need to know it in advance, so that you can face the music. There are dates for registration, there are dates for evaluation. We're gonna try to follow the most suitable ones, okay? I think we are doing very well. That's what I believe. So I'm not worried about it. Well, if you have any question, please let me know, because I'm about to leave. I have another lesson and I need to phone. I need to call a teacher. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we having that final exam that is on E-minus?
Thank you for that question, Alfred. You're always, you're always there. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't think so. But you know what? Thank you for your question. Next Tuesday, we're gonna have the quiz in a very friendly manner. You know how? We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game, and that's gonna be your exam. It's not gonna be that easy, of course. It's a game, an interactive game that has got all the topics we have explored. All of them. It's gonna be a Kahoot. Do you know Kahoot? Yeah.
I do.
Okay, it's gonna be a Kahoot. So you will need 2 devices there, your computer and your mobile phone. I'm gonna need you to bring 2 devices for next week. It's really fun, right, Rafa? Isn't it? Kahoots are really fun.
Yeah, they're fun, but for a quiz, I wouldn't say it's fun.
Well, people always had the idea that a quiz or an exam is hard, you know, and it's formal, but not really, you know. Exams shouldn't have that label, you know. This is going to be a friendly quiz. And, well, I have Google Forms, you know. We could take the test with Google Forms, but I don't think that's necessary. We're working online, I mean, and if we are working online, we should take advantage of technology. And, well, a Kahoot is going to be fun. The 10% is not going to be included there, by the way, you people, huh? The only, you know, the three people, the people who win the game, I mean, first place, second place, and third place are going to have their 10%. But the others, yeah, will be graded by that 90% because the exam is hard, by the way. The exam is not a piece of cake. I have it there on Google Forms. So I don't want you to take the test and to lower your grade. So you're going to be graded by 90%, which is going to represent the 10%. I'm going to explain that to you, of course, in detail. But I don't think it's pedagogically healthy to take the test and to lower your grade. I don't think that's going to be helpful, not even useful. Now, if we play the game, we're going to check whether you learned or you did not. But not only by playing, by checking your response pages, by checking your dynamics in class. I mean, it's going to be formative evaluation, not figures. No, not figures. Not this time. I don't think it's suitable this time. I have the test. I'm going to share the test with you, of course, even though it's not going to be the 10%, but I'm going to show it to you so that you can dimension the complexity of the test. Okay? That's going to be for next Tuesday. Well, thank you very much. I'm leaving the room. I have another class at City.
Do we have to upload the video of the cultural diversity to Google Drive, or only in the forums of admin?
Only on the forum and in evaluation section. It's for today, by the way. Eh? Today is the last day.
Thank you.
So we don't have to put the presentation on Google Drive because I saw a folder in there and people is putting the presentation there.
Well, I placed the folder just to back it up. But the place where I'm going to check it is Eminus. I told you that at the beginning. Eminus is the place. Evaluation and in the firm. That's the place where I'm going to check it. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. People, you are so nice. I love this group, you know, full of talent. Thank you very much. The session is going to be uploaded to Eminus in case you want to check it again. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a lovely morning.
Thank you.
Morning.